So without further ado, I'm going to call on Mr. Chetty to join me up here and to share with us his wise words. He said that what I can share is that when he stands up here, please look, he's very, very fit. He has done 11 comrades. So that is a huge feat and in itself deserves a medal, which I'm sure he's got stacks of and he can actually donate some to us. So Daya, please join me up here and a warm welcome from all of us to you.
Thank you very much. Very good afternoon to you, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, our young students from the school. Lovely rendition of the music earlier. As they say, Marachena, all protocol observed, and greetings to all of you. I've been given limited time. Like I indicated, it takes me 10 minutes to warm up for the race, so I have only 10 minutes to finish. Basically, you look at that topic, school leadership, a compelling priority, and I just want to rush through it and just focus on a couple of things. I had a few videos and things, but I'm going to skip all those videos because I think that probably would take more time. I think what's important to focus on is our values-centered approach to education. And I think one of the things is that we focus so much on the actual subject matter at school that sometimes we forget about the values that bring itself to education. And I believe as a country that's developing so fast and so vigorously and so vibrantly, that we need to start instilling the values and the qualities that our students need to possess. But I think more so it comes through a learning curve within the school context. Now I think the partnership for possibilities with the companies that are associated with schools certainly bring a lot of that to the schools in terms of what values and vision companies are looking for in the future of this country and how can schools develop to meet those standards. Now you'll notice I just put up there the 8 key areas of the standards for principalship that the Department of Education are looking at. The one is leading, teaching, and learning, shaping the direction of schools, managing quality and securing accountability, developing and empowering the self. But look at the one that's highlighted, managing the school as an organization. And I think that's where great leadership comes into context. And I think with partnering with great companies like we see here today, those companies are leaders within the frame and development of this country, and I think the leaders who lead those companies together with their network of operations can bring a great upskilling within our capacity of leadership in schools. The thing that I look at also is that 25% of our schools in South Africa are functional, 75% are dysfunctional at this stage. What are the reasons for the functionality or dysfunctionality? Accountability has become one of the major indicators that we lack accountability when we work with various stakeholders and with ourselves within the school. Incompetent school management. Now, school management is a broad context. It's not just about the principal, it's about the team that works together. The lack of culture of learning, discipline, and order. And we all know a school with great discipline is a school with great results. And therefore, discipline is to be reinstilled. Inadequate LTSM. While LTSM is available, the learners don't have the adequate learning and teaching materials to actually develop themselves. And then, of course, absenteeism and curriculum coverage and repetition and so on in our schools and dropout rates. But I want to move on to something which perhaps will take us to the great principalship in terms of what we build within our schools, is respect for time. And I don't say respect for time just in general, respect for teachers' time. They say great leaders do not waste their workers' time, which means that you don't call meetings for the sake of calling meetings. You don't schedule things that's not supposed to be scheduled. You don't have unscheduled things that bring people and take them off their current schedules. But I think the other ones is also about high expectations. I think school leaders that have great and high expectations for themselves have high expectations for the organization. And then, of course, the one that one looks at, what are students' views about great principals? the ones who make sure the school is a safe place. So they say parents look for schools not anymore with great results, but schools that are safe spaces for their children. And I think that's what people are looking for in schools. And I'm going to rush through 15 quick points without going into the gist of it. Meet your staff early before you take a school over. Before you meet an organization, know who you're working with. The second one, honor the history of your school. And what does that mean? You need to make sure that you meet people who are veterans in your school that can make you understand what the school is about before you try to develop your own vision about it. Identify major players and support them. And one of the things, who are those major players in your school? Identify with them. Be fair. They say great leaders are fair to their entire staff. When you start having favorites, people lose trust in you. Be kind, caring, and respectful in all of your relationships, and be willing to apologize. You know, they say the strength of a good leader is one who apologizes for their mistakes. One who covers up their mistakes is not apologetic. Sorry, that's a video that was going to show. Focus on school and classroom culture. What does that mean? If you walk around the school, check what's happening, check that there's discipline, that teaching and learning is taking place, which is the core function of leadership in teaching, then of course your school will be moving in the right direction. Budgets. You know, we always complain about finance in this country. Finance has become the pivotal indicator of a reshuffling of not just a cabinet, but a change of government in a great sense. And we need to understand why that's come about. It's purely because about money. People question you when you deal with public funds. And if you can't be custodian of public funds, don't take on this type of job. It's difficult. Grow some leather. What does leather mean? Thick skin. If you don't have thick skin as a leader, you're going to fail in this job because everything is going to disrupt your element of movement. Get to know your facility. You know, it just reminds me, when I was a level 1 teacher, a principal came into the school, threw up a document and said, study the school because I've studied it already. My first question went up to the principal was, where's the balconies in the school? Because I knew it was a flat school. And so the principal didn't study the school. Set fewer and more succinct goals in year 1. They always say, sometimes you come into an organization, you want to conquer everything in 1 year. Believe it or not, you're not going to. So set goals that are achievable and get them done. And then, of course, model great practice. One of the things about a great leader is your role modeling exercise. You want people to do something? Start doing it yourself first. Keep your circuit manager in the loop. And in education context, for those in the company and those who are in partners, circuit managers are people who supervise our schools. The last line, I don't like surprises. Don't surprise people who are in the department when they learn about it in the media, because they hate doing that. Communicate well with your staff and community, and that's building partnerships with the people you work with. Find a mentor. What we're doing today is mentorship. We're finding mentors in companies. We're finding people we can work with. Find mentors also, other principals in other schools. And schedule yourself to be with your students. I always say the best time of a principal is not in the office. It's during break time. It's extramural time. It's time when learners are outside, where you can mingle with them and find out who's got lunch, who doesn't have lunch, who's got a story to tell, and which child is going home hungry, which child's got problems. That's where you find it out on the sports field. And so I want to conclude by saying, from a great leader, sorry, there's a couple of videos. Mahatma Gandhi had to say the following: 7 dangers to human virtue. Wealth without work, pleasure without conscience, knowledge without character, business without ethics, science without humanity, religion without sacrifice, and politics without principles. And therefore, great school leaders constantly pay attention. They build a culture focused on student learning. They confront mediocre teaching. They invite, they inspire. They support families, students, and school staff in ways that lead to improvement. They want to be trusted and not simply liked. And therefore, in conclusion, if the time permits me, Marichan, I'd like to go back to this great video, which I thought for me was probably most inspiring. I hope it's the right one.
In South Africa today, inequality in education is still based on race, but also on class and region. But one school in a rural area in the Eastern Cape is standing these notions on their heads.
Most people here are uneducated. We don't have electricity, we don't have water, and there are no job opportunities. The one thing we do have is a good school, so we young people try to get a good education so that we can improve the living conditions in the area.
In 1986, after parents campaigned for a school in their area, Mpondombini Secondary School finally opened. But it struggled to find its footing for years with limited resources and a lack of leadership. When Edward Gabada became headmaster in 2001, only an abysmal 23% of students passed the grade 12 exam.
When I started here to change things, it was easy because I realized it's not the teachers who are not working, it's the management which is not making them work.
Gabada's excellent leadership has turned the school around. Despite a lack of books and other resources and not enough government support, in 2014 the pass rate was an incredible 96%.
We teach them, we guide them, we motivate them. You cannot just come here, sit here the whole day, go back home, nothing comes out.
Which is in your eye.
Mpondombini has 985 students and class sizes range from 30 to 90 pupils. Gabada has achieved his success with high expectations, a deep passion to help his students learn and grow, and getting parents to engage in their children's education.
Why?
There's one thing I believe in. A parent sending a learner to the school. There is something in that parent. That parent wants that learner to be educated, although the parent is not educated. So mine then is to satisfy the parent.
The Department of Basic Education here defines an underperforming student as one who scores less than 35% in their grade 12 exams. But Gabada knows if his students are to have successful futures, he must aim higher.
My vision is that this school remains on top. That is why I have a slogan on that wall that says, "Learners first."
In the future, I want to be something better, like a social worker, and help the people in my community so that they can live better lives.
Inspiring and effective leadership has transformed this community. For a real impact in education across South Africa, other leaders should follow this example.
So thank you very much. So thank you so much for the opportunity, Partners for Possibility, Marichan and Symphonia. So we as SAPA are here for professional development, a new year with partnerships. And we put the two together, we can get great professionalization of leadership in this country. Thank you very much. I wish you all well. Congratulations. Thank you very much.